It has been a very annoying
We're
week.
now going live, actually.
It has been a very annoying week for me right now.
Uh-huh.
Just absolutely hectic. I have not managed to do any fucking work because I've been stuck on this one thing that has taken 3 weeks now. 3 fucking weeks. And if I am asked to, if it is delayed or if I'm asked to do any more fucking migration to do with it, I will go fucking insane and go fucking postal. I also have to help out my grandmother's at my grandmother's place all the way in France, which will take the entirety of the weekend, and I have to leave tomorrow. So yeah, just not an overall fun week for me.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
So just to rub salt into the wound, I got like one of those Ferrero Rocher like gift plates from a happy customer after I helped him with his phone.
Sweet. Do you ever have one of them big Ferrero Rocher eggs?
Oh no,
those are good. You'd think that they would be like underwhelming or something, but they're just really good.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a giant Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah.
I got a reminder why I don't buy sweets. I bought a glass of Nutella. It's empty.
Oh, what?
It took me 3 fucking days.
Damn.
I'm a bit ashamed of myself.
I've had like one of the like a small thing of Nuspli flying around here for like months.
There is a reason I never buy those. Like,
yeah.
I have not bought anything Nutella for 1.5 years.
I'm gonna have to be real though. Nuspli is superior as a product.
It's one of these ones I got, the 48-piece ones.
Oh, it's one of those that doesn't have fucking what's the fucking cherry one called?
Oh yeah, no, this is great.
The one with alcohol. The one that nobody fucking likes because it's terrible and it's disgusting.
I mean, I find that
exactly.
I find that any chocolate with any sort of alcohol in it is fucking vile.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the absolute like peak garbage chocolate, right, is the little bottle ones with rum in them.
I've never tasted them.
Not only is it bad fake dark chocolate, it's full of bad rum.
I have a bar of chocolate with whiskey in it that I was gifted for my 18th birthday.
That chocolate must have bloomed by now.
Oof. My boss offered me so she's Finnish. She's half Finnish, half
fucking woman.
Estonian, actually. No, Latvian. She's half Finnish, half Latvian.
Pick one, Jesus Christ.
UKIP's worst nightmare.
But like, so she brought back a delicacy from Finland.
So she's half Baltic, half okay.
But like, she brought over like some Finnish chocolates which were filled with like cherry, I think, and some form of alcohol. And I ate through one of them. I'm like, God, this tastes fucking rancid. Little did I know it had fucking alcohol in them because it's not advertised because it's in fucking Finnish, of course.
Yeah, you can't hang on.
So fucking bad.
There's nothing Finland that does not contain alcohol.
Well,
the
of course
coffee,
not.
maybe.
I do hear Finnish people love their coffee.
Didn't you read the big sisältää alkoholia label on it?
Sisältää alkoholia.
I don't understand Finnish. I don't understand gobbledygook.
Yeah, but it's literally this is how you write it. Even like not knowing Finnish.
I don't care. It's gobbledygook to me.
Even not knowing Finnish, reading that, I would get suspicious.
Yeah, if it has something like vaguely.
To be fair, she just gave us the individual ones and then just presented the box like this is a Finnish delicacy. Like, okay, I tried not to be, rude and just went, okay, I'll try some.
Thomas a finished delicacy.
I mean, that is very true. Jesus.
I mean, I will give him that finish is pretty much moon runes.
Yeah,
but fucking...
they're using the Latin alphabet for their moon runes.
Yeah, then you've got the Icelandic people, and that's like, the fuck do you guys people like get your language from? Jupiter?
Yeah.
I mean, they did get it. Look, look, any person from like Nordic/Baltic areas is literally just moon runes mixed with magic. You cannot understand them.
And also the Welsh.
Here's my favorite.
No, the Welsh are Elvish. They're not moon runes.
Moon elves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the halfway point's fine.
Oh shit! The new Steam UI.
Yeah, and also the other thing that I have purchased is what I'm sitting on right now. And
I'm sorry, what?
It's one of them fucking stay in this capitalist office hellhole for 8 hours in your chair without ever getting up type chairs.
Oh yes.
Honestly, I didn't think that it could be like. I was like, it's gonna be comfortable, but it's not gonna be like it's not gonna be like amazing. I'm gonna be sitting down and think I shouldn't have paid almost 300 euros for a chair. I sat on this thing once. I never want to sit on my old fucking chair again.
Yeah.
This is so good.
I mean, a good chair, right, like a good computer chair, will just have you want to sit in that thing for days on end.
Yeah, this is one of someone else's grandma, not my own grandma. Once said this very wise thing to me, which is never always pay a lot of money for things that separate you from the ground. It's shoes, mattresses, and chairs.
I fuck with that.
Yeah,
I have been I'm a kind of fucking stingy, but this I have done.
Yeah, understandable, really.
Yeah.
I miss my old. I miss the old recliner I was using as a gaming chair. When you sat in it, you sunk like 30 centimeters.
Yeah,
and it was real good leather. I was like,
all right.
The only sad thing is during the summer, like high summer, with anything leather that you sit in, you stick to the chair.
Yeah.
And you can just hear the sound when you move away.
Oh, high summer? Is that like summer with weed?
Yes, weed lamau.
Weed element.
This is just what Cito just posted is just evil.
What did he post? Hang on.
This guy, sometimes I call missing child posters and scream, "Mommy, help me, please."
Yeah.
It's
Jesus
straight
fucking
up
Christ.
evil posting, dude.
Yeah,
the most evil one I've seen so far was a guy posting one that says, "I sometimes call people's numbers on the milk carton saying, 'Don't bother with the Amber Alert, you're not getting it back.'"
Fucking
Jeffrey Dahmer did that at some point with his fucking victims.
Oof.
God, there's actually a thing that happened over here. I think you all heard about this, where there was an Amber Alert put out for this missing girl out here, and the girl actually got away from the guy who kidnapped her, ran to the first cop she could see, and then they fucking shot her.
Oh yeah. I remember that. I remember hearing that.
Yeah, they put out an Amber Alert for her. Same day, she gets away from her captor, runs up to a cop, and then the cop just draws his gun on her and fucking kills her.
Bro, that's you rolling a nat 0 on life luck.
That is such an insane statement. The idea that, once again, speaking as a fucking European, right? This is the idea that you could just walk up to a cop and he
they
would
just shoot you.
his gun. Even if I had a gun in my hand, that wouldn't happen.
I mean, to be fair,
so fucking
maybe
insane.
in mainland Europe you wouldn't, but I do not trust the UK
English
police
cops
at
don't
all.
even have guns.
I mean, if you did that at like a national monument where you have like the armed police.
I mean, sure, if I were aggressively waving a gun around at a national monument, even though they wouldn't even kill me immediately, they'll just have all their guns strained at me. And like say, stop doing whatever the fuck you're doing right now and then shoot me. Point is, I wouldn't be like a tiny underaged black girl getting shot.
Jesus, man.
I mean, I'm just glad that I don't live on Melmer. Like, there was... This is like a really unlucky story, right? So, there was this Jewish family, right? That reported a break-in as it was happening.
Yeah.
By, you know, the usual people that really don't like Jews from the Middle East.
Yeah.
Let's not say the words because we'll get people upset.
Who?
The police get there, right? Arrest of the people who are breaking in. The dad's been beaten the fuck out of, and wife and kids are in various states of not good. And after the cops leave, right? Another group throw a fucking grenade in through the window.
What the fuck?
Jesus.
Holy
That's one hell of an
shit.
afternoon.
Yeah. So,
Bruh.
reason why this hasn't really been reported on in most of the world, like as a big scandal, is because both Sweden and Denmark are suppressing any and all news about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, sometimes, man, it's just...
The only reason why I know is because I have a friend who's in the police force who works over at Malmö.
There's not some you can talk about.
Yeah.
I did watch the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary, though. I thought it was very good. Because it really dug into the whole, like, race aspect of it. Not even just, like, that he was racist. Because Jeffrey Dahmer, like, I guess he wasn't racist? But, like, the police response. Where, like, his neighbor called them all the time. It's like, I'm literally right now hearing people getting actually murdered in the apartment next door.
Hearing people being cut up.
It's like the fucking when he was like with the 14-year-old boy that he had drilled a hole in the back of his head. She like stands in front of the police like, this child is clearly underage. This is an underage child, drunk as shit. You cannot just give this underage child back to this guy, whom I have called you about several times, regarding that he like murders people, right? And they just like they take the victim that had escaped back to Dahmer's apartment, and he's like, no, this is my boyfriend, a gay boyfriend. They're like, oh yuck, that's a fag shit. We're gonna have to wash ourselves after this. Fucking absolutely incredible. And then, like, in the aftermath of it, there's some, like, fucking tourists who are taking pictures in front of the house as, you know, like, horror, oh, this is where Jeffrey Dahmer used to live type pictures. And, like, her daughter takes away the guy's camera and, like, smashes it. And then immediately, like, fucking 20 minutes later, she gets legitimately arrested. Like, the cops show up to the woman's house to arrest her daughter. Right next to Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
Jesus.
God, I love the police. God bless them.
Yeah.
As a famous song would say, fuck the police coming straight from the underground.
Say the next line. Say the
No.
next line.
I refuse. You can't make me.
I don't know the next one. I would say it if you want me to.
Fuck the fire department, dude.
But no, like, when it comes to British police, at least, They're basically America light police.
Honestly, not even like they genuinely don't scare me. Like I've never seen because
they don't, but they
shitty.
don't have any standards
That's
to me.
because
like,
they're not black like Posh.
I am not.
No, but like what I mean is they're like immoral, and I agree with that. But like in terms of the
God, I can't believe
like
you called Posh black. Don't you know he's he's ethnically Haitian French. He can't help himself.
No,
My
he's
man's
actually
Algerian, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one. Holy shit.
God, I miss being on these streams so much. You have no
Yeah,
idea.
bro. Like we missed you, to be honest. Like, bro,
I did.
where you been?
I'm doing all right. I'm working a factory job now, and unfortunately, I usually
He's
work on
working
Thursdays.
at the weed factory, dude.
Yeah,
He works at the weed factory.
like unironically, I do. It's great.
That fucking rocks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing a Spelljammer campaign soon.
Ooh.
That sounds pretty nice.
Finally, I'm gonna be playing a monk, but who's a doctor. So I'm gonna use the Way of Mercy archetype of the monk, and I'm gonna basically make him like a medical doctor who like does Reiki and shit. I'm very excited.
So you're gonna punch people back to health?
Yes. yeah, kind of.
Based.
God damn, I really need.
I will beat the sick out of you.
Yeah, but you work at the weed factory.
I mean, that's pretty base, though. Let's be real.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I only get paid $16.25 an hour, but
that's kind of shit, though.
It's better. It's better pay than I've gotten anywhere else. So,
hey, don't scoff at 16.25.
I'm not. I'm just saying you can't live off that here, specifically because it's California. You can't afford rent on that.
Oh, yeah.
But
you also live like in the worst fucking state of America.
Well, yeah, it's because I am literally the only reason I am not the most expensive.
Alabama, dude.
Yeah, Cali is still worse.
I'm gonna be real, Berg, when it comes to like race shit in like California, and I've talked with people about this before, right? Is that the whole stereotype of America of like California being super accepting and whatnot? That's mostly in SoCal. You get that still a little bit in Central Cal, but up in NorCal, it's basically like Oregon.
I mean, it's cities.
Yeah, it's like out in the city. The cities are pretty fucking blue and like liberal and like the annoying way. Not like they're not leftists, they're libs and they're fucking annoying. But
I'm not sure.
Hey,
They
no,
have
no,
like
that's fair.
5 leftist neighborhoods in all of the U.S. Like I don't know.
let me
if
put it
that's the
this way,
standard
Berg.
you can set.
Let me put it this way, Berg. I've been living in NorCal for about 4 years now. I've lived in neighborhoods where there were where there were like 3% militia people proudly displaying their flags and shit.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Got friends with them?
Wait, hang on. I'm sorry. C-Tool just posted something and he pinged me over it, and we need to talk about it. So apparently Elon Musk made like a statement that Taiwan should be handed over to China.
Oh yeah, no. Elon Musk has been going completely
And
fucking
then he
insane,
got a
in my
tax
humble opinion.
break by the Chinese government. Like,
Wow.
This is literally just him doing advertising for them and getting tax breaks for it.
I genuinely hope the U.S. government goes like, "That's not very kosher of you."
I mean, that's not how.
0% chance.
I'm very disappointed in you, Elon.
Yeah.
I
mean, hopefully he gets charged with sedition, even though we know that's not gonna happen.
I mean, he can. This is a political opinion that he can.
Oh my god! And did you hear what he was
having a
saying about
political
Ukraine?
opinion is not sedition, fam.
I know, but
It's
like
not.
he's been saying some shit. Like, have you heard what he said about fucking Ukraine and like how it should be handled? It's like, oh, give all the territories that Russia has conquered to Russia. Make sure Ukraine is completely neutral, as in can't enter NATO, and like bruh, what? I'm just like, bro, are you high?
No, I think he just became good friends with Schröder.
I've seen this like Europa Universalis tier take where it's like, well, but the Russians conquered that land, so they deserve it. Which is
what
the fuck are you talking about?
I genuinely hope that when the economic crash does finally come, I don't care how long it takes, but when it does, I really fucking hope that Elon loses everything.
You are also going to be disappointed there.
0% chance of that happening as well.
Yeah.
I don't think
I really
how
wish.
trillionaires work.
Oh yeah, talking to Russia, did you guys hear about some of the military over there being deployed over to Moscow? Apparently they're worried about a coup breaking out.
Understandably so. The whole fucking situation is extremely unpopular with the Russian public, apparently.
Oh yeah, it's getting crazy over there. Like, legit, there are people just going into like, I know there's at least one case where somebody actually went to a recruitment office and shot the person running it.
Hell yeah. I mean, they're kind of, to many of them, they're being asked to, like, murder their brother sibling people, you know?
Pretty much.
It's kind of as if you were, like, asking the Germans to kill the French. I mean,
what's happening here?
Okay, you might want to use the example of the British, because at least that's universal.
It's kind of like quick, think of two random people in the Balkans asking Serbs to kill Bosnians. I mean, asking Turks to kill Kurds. I mean, asking Hutus to kill Tutsis. I mean,
asking British to kill Zulus.
Nope, never mind.
Asking Britons to kill Scots. Asking the British to get the Scots to kill other Scots.
See, asking Americans to kill Canadians. There you go.
Well, not really, because there's a reason we use the rake over here.
LMAO kind of funny. Funny.
Hell yeah.
The downs just hit hard.
Yeah. So, yeah. How have you
God,
been doing?
that's cute. Aw.
How is the little dude doing?
Yeah, that was an open question to everyone. I expect it to be answered.
I don't know. Fuck you.
Yeah. Nice.
It's been a week.
A week since what?
It's just been a week. Not good,
for fuck's sake.
not bad, just a week.
I've been feeling that a lot lately, honestly.
Yeah.
It's very classic weak situation.
Yeah.
Weak behavior.
I've had to deal with like some fucked up bureaucracy this week because I run like a role playing game organization at university.
Yeah.
And we have to book the rooms every semester that we get. Which we do, we send them like an email 2 months in advance. And then they never get back to us. And so on Monday, because Wednesday is the day of, on Monday, I go to uni to go to the place where their offices are, and there's no one there. And when I mean there is no one there, I mean the whole floor that houses over a dozen offices is devoid of a living soul. I have to search for some guy who I'm not even entirely sure works there. And I ask him, do you know where they are? It's like, yeah, probably in home office. I don't know where the fuck they are. Like, yeah, well, we can't reach them. Well, send them an email. It's like, what are you talking about? We sent them an email. We don't even have like the confirmation that they fucking read it. And then he got super pissy that I would like blame him for this, which I wasn't doing. I was just, do you maybe have another way of trying to reach them? Because if that doesn't work and they're not answering our calls either. And then on the last day, I reach one of them like the phone mailbox. And then she's like, well, yeah, my colleague actually, your rooms are booked. We just forgot to tell you.
Wow.
That whole thing is completely for nothing.
Oh, fucking. Speaking of fun things. So, last week, I had a bit of a giggle and a tiff on Discord, which got me yeeted off a server.
Yeah.
So, the admin started whinging, I guess, about privilege and people having it.
Alright.
And he specifically pointed out me and another guy who's a native Canadian.
Yeah.
Which
like
makes
native
this
Canadian in the sense of like a First Nations type fella?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this makes 2 of those people I know. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, when the native piped up with, well, I'm quite literally native, and you know, I certainly don't have fucking like any privilege. And he turns around, right, the admin, and goes, yeah, but you were raised white, therefore you have privilege.
What
the fuck?
Excuse me, what does it mean to
Can
be
I
raised
ask?
white? What is
Can
the
I
meaning
ask
of
though?
See, like, you know that one video of Drewski just going, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
That got posted by like 7 people in a row.
What does that mean?
Legitimately, I do want to know, what did he mean by that?
Yeah. Well, now, I had to go, turn around and go, so I'm more privileged than you. Me, who grew up, from age 2 until age 8, I had to brush my teeth with water and salt.
Yeah.
Privilege was not something I had.
I love that, this is, I get, being for the disadvantaged group and having all of those problems and the fact that I didn't grow up with the same life experience as other groups of people. But every time somebody brings up the word privilege, it's always to, tear people down. And
yeah,
it,
of course.
It always ignores the class dimension. Always.
Well, yeah, that's because, well, 1, these people don't have any class consciousness. 2, they want to look good. Social brownie points is basically what it is.
My favorite thing of all this, though, this is my favorite conversation of this kind that has ever happened. Irish people.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a fun one.
Irish people colonized for 1,000 years. Right? White privilege. Because they're white passing. The Irish have white privilege. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's
How about no? How about that? How about you?
Yeah, it's
I know that I'll ruffle all affairs with this, but I categorically refuse to fucking engage in the whole fucking even the theoretical discussion about privilege based on on race, because that categorically does not exist.
It's just I don't like the. I have no problem. It's not even admitting this is. I have nothing to do with this. I have no problem. It is obvious that you can be disadvantaged because of your race in society, because of systemic racism and shit.
Yeah.
And I try to as far as what I can do about that, which is nothing, but I do that because I think that's fucked up. I don't think that's right. But, anytime somebody's like, oh, you need to acknowledge your privilege, it's always just to, have some sort of social power over you. And I don't fucking fly with that.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
I can guarantee you that no matter where you are in life, no matter how shit you have it, there's some guy just down the corner who has it worse than you.
Yeah. And it's not, and people, because it feels nice to them for you to, admit that you're privileged. And it's like, what? How? I've never in my entire life, if anyone like fucking talks to me about what was shit in my life, it wasn't shit in their life. It's basically them going, oh yeah, I had a better life than you. I was just born into better circumstances than you. I admit to this. What? What does that do for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I feel like it's such a cancerous thing to talk about. Like, not necessarily the message itself, but just, like, trying to talk about it with anyone really just becomes so cancerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, like, one thing that actually reminds me of is this is actually something Bayard Rustin was talking about back in the day, right? Is he called this white liberal syndrome, where it was basically what he described it as was white people exploiting black people for the sake of masochism. Like, how would I put this? It's like, I forget the exact words. I'm gonna need to like go look up the exact thing he said, so I'm not like misquoting it. But it was actually like, and he was saying this in like the 50s and 60s, and he was fucking on point with this shit.
Yeah, Rustin had a lot of fucking really good takes.
God, really?
He's pretty good.
Yeah, like it's very much a upper like middle class problem.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge my privilege right now and say that this new fucking chair, it has like a leg rest that I can...
Bro, Jelly, check your chair privilege.
Yeah, put out, and I could just put out my feet like this, which I could already do, because I have this bit in my... like, I have this, like, Kallax IKEA thing that's, like, right behind my desk, and one of the boxes is empty, so I can put my feet in them. Now I can do that and have my my thighs supported.
Okay, I found the exact quote that I was looking for. Black people have always been used and exploited in many ways by white Americans, but it is only recently that they have been asked to satisfy the masochistic cravings of disenchanted liberals for flagellation and rejection.
Damn. That is such an excellent way of putting it. Because a lot of this is, like, it's done so these people can feel a sense of, like, I'm a good person. I have acknowledged my privilege. I'm a good person.
Yeah, praise me.
It does nothing. Like, no person of color is helped by this.
Oh, hold on. There's a specific... Oh, yeah, here we go.
I remember Bill Burr talking about this during one of his comedy specials. And it was like, woke was a word used a lot by black people, and then as soon as white people heard it, they just snatched that up.
So, The Amazing Atheist has a clip, like a little meme about him, that perfectly sums it up. There you go. It's in studio.
Okay, let me fucking... Ah, yeah, sorry, I'm white! Sorry, this is legendary. I love it.
Yeah,
I am a monster!
Knowing him...
I'm sorry, I'm missed.
He really...
Why am I a monster?
He started that whole... You can say that he started that whole, like, backlash against this particular brand of feminism shit. And I love that he... With him... With, like, a really good video. I still remember this. It's only sexist when men do it. Where he complained about, like, the inequities of, like, women do horrible sexist shit too, but it isn't considered sexist even though it's utterly dehumanizing and patriarchal. And I think he used that particular word because, like me, he doesn't like to use the theory words, but that's basically what he said.
Oh, of course. That's because when men do it, it's horrible and sexist, but when women do it, it's empowering.
And now at the other end of that, he's one of the... Because that whole movement, it's such a fever dream looking back at it. Because, like, half the people in it were, like, just legitimately hardcore lefty people who were actually like the Gamergate type meta complex and the anti-SJW bullshit that followed it. They were like, freedom of expression is important, and they were like hard left people. And then the other half was like hard right or like secretly hard right people.
Mm-hmm.
And TJ like ended up being like what went even further left over the years.
Well, he started near the center. And then
he used to be a libertarian. He says he used to be a libertarian when he lived in his dad's basement.
Yeah, he got catapulted towards the left. Kind of in a fun way, because he had a falling out with like a major sort of like secret right-wing talking head. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
And that just fucking he spiraled down into like being borderline tanky for a while. And then, he became sane.
This a recent thing now?
No, this was... God. It was before he grew out his beard, like, massively.
Oh, so this is like... Because I've been following him for fucking forever, really.
I've fucking followed him and Thunderfoot before he,
Thunderfoot became crazy.
Mask off.
Yeah, no, Thunderfoot went crazy, I feel.
He really did fall off.
Well, Thunderfoot was harassed into being crazy.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was the first real victim of the whole, we're going to call everyone like all the places you've ever worked at, like all places you will ever work at and you apply to, and make sure you can't live.
Damn, really?
Yeah, that was the whole start of that.
What was the thing what did he do? I don't remember who, like, was it one of, like, the creationist people?
He dared criticize one of the absolute, like, batshit crazy feminists. The kill all, like literally kill all men types.
Amazing. I love that. I love that.
I think what set her off was when he said that she probably shouldn't have her child, considering she has outwardly seriously claimed, both in videos, social medias, and to her friends, that she wants to castrate her child.
That's an opinion he can have and shouldn't have his life destroyed for it. I reckon perhaps that didn't work, having his life destroyed for it, because he's like an extremely specialized type of, like, medical scientist, as far as I remember.
He was a physicist.
Yeah, but he worked in some very particular field of medical science. He was like one of 3 people in the world who understand some like very specific phenomenon.
Like when I watched, he's a chemist. Okay.
This was years ago though, so I don't actually properly remember.
Yeah, because I remember he had to like stop working in Britain and then move to, I think it was the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, where he works at the Academy of Sciences.
He still does. See, this is why I was against Brexit.
A brain drain, bruh.
I remember like Sargon talking about him, like, oh, this is, Thunderfoot, this is you wouldn't be if you were a working class lad, you're just a privileged, he didn't use the word privilege, but he basically did his equivalent of that. Upper class scientist, you don't understand, all the brown people are taking away the jobs. Yeah.
Jesus.
I found Sargon's spiral to be hilarious.
It's really... I remember I would prefer Bernie Sanders as President Sargon.
I remember Sargon back when he actually advocated for unions and shit.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of people remember that.
I remember a video Sargon did a long-ass time ago where he put, I think it was a British Prime Minister or their Secretary of the Treasury equivalent, on blast because he was saying like, oh, you can live on like the current minimum wage of like however many pounds a month. And he actually like went into it, budgeted that amount out. It was like, you're being stupid. Nobody can live on this. Like he actually went into the economics of it. It was fucking wild.
Yeah, Chris, I do agree with that sentiment. That it's like to, like, make people aware that actually being targeted by the police is bad. But yeah, it got misappropriated, and now it's kind of a meaningless term to the point where it's like obviously, if you're so stupid that you don't understand that like being racially profiled is bad, I don't fucking know. Like, I resent the implication that I wouldn't understand that. That is an insult to my ability to empathize with other human beings. Which is actually, that is something that it's something that irks me and has irked me for a long time. That a lot of this, a lot of the political language around it is just about like a fundamental denial of human empathy. Like, it's this idea that essentially that if you're white, not even if you're white, if you have any kind of privilege, like, it's literally impossible to relate to other people in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Which is so insane. It's like, oh, you don't know what it's like. It's like, no, of course I don't know what it's like, but I can imagine what it's like.
Speaking of empathy and whatnot, this brings me to a point I kind of want to make for people on the stream at some point. So obviously we're we're having trouble these days bringing people over to the left.
And that's putting it mildly.
One thing I have noticed is that when people that we want to bring over to the left, they reach out a hand and say, "Help me, please, I'm having trouble." That hand gets slapped away and it gets spat on.
That happens often, yeah.
Not just often, it happens pretty much consistently all the time.
It's
a very bad way of bringing people over. Like, when somebody holds out their hand asking for help, you don't ask them what their politics are, you help them.
Yeah. But it's
like,
you need to check if they're part of the, if they have the right opinions first. This is the fundamental difference between, like, left-wing political recruitment praxis and right-wing political recruitment praxis. And it's not even, there's so many left-wingers who do this very, very well, who do the exact right things. But there's just, within the left, so many people who will just drive a complete fucking hatred campaign if you even so much as talk to someone who is a Nazi and is like, hey, I've been thinking maybe being racist isn't good and I should stop being racist. Can you help me stop being racist?
Yeah, you're a Nazi now, so that means you're always going to be a Nazi.
And that is something that doesn't happen on the right.
Yeah, and this is like something that, this brings me to an interesting point, is like something I got into a fight with the chapter of the Socialist Rifle Association I'm in, right?
Yeah.
I got into, and I keep getting into like arguments with about this kind of shit a lot. And it's like, one thing I got into a fight about is like doing praxis outside of places like California, where you are going to have to deal with people who, simply put, they are not going to share a lot of your values. And like, one of the things I keep pushing over and over again is if you are going to deal regularly with working class people, you are going to meet a lot of people who do not share your opinions at face value. You are going to find a lot of people who are going to probably be very racist and whatnot. The thing is, you have to help them anyway. You don't get to decide who is working class and who is not working class. If we're going to do this, we need to pick up everybody.
Yeah. We don't
get to pick and choose. We pull everybody up or we all fall down together.
And it's this too. A lot of these people, these like working class people with the racist beliefs, that isn't the case because they're like evil. This is just, they've been so concerned with just the day-to-day survival of their own life. They're so heavily propagandized by, like, dedicated PR machinery to make them believe this. Paid for by extremely wealthy people. And the way you're gonna, like, talk them out of that, the way you're going to broaden their horizons is not going to be by shaming them.
Yeah, it's like I bring this up too, and I'm like, sometimes there are just legit people, depending on where you live, because down in the South, you're going to find entire towns of people that are going to talk like that, not because everyone there is a horrible piece of shit, but because that's just been how they've been raised around their whole lives, and they don't know any better.
Yeah, it's
like,
racism is something you can be cured of.
Yeah, and I bring this up, right, and their immediate response is, that just sounds like you're insulting their intelligence.
Well, they lack education. Right? They lack that kind of life experience. Life experience is education. Yeah. If you live in a fucking small town in the middle of nowhere that is once again being actively propagandized by, like, this, it's not even... It's not an insult to someone's intelligence to assume that they do not know literally everything that can be known. Like, it's not an insult to someone's... This is kind of like saying... there's a lot of, like, systemic racism things where, you know, rural people are disadvantaged and, like, black people are disadvantaged because just a lot of answers to test questions and all that are things that you would know if you had grown up in, like, white culture as opposed to, you know, not that.
Yeah.
That would be saying that it's insulting the intelligence of black people to want to not have that kind of unfair structuring of tests.
Yeah,
it's like, no, it's not. They're not stupid. This is not inside of the things that they experience.
Yeah. And something I want to point out as well is, like, you don't convince people that you're not a monster. Right? Like, you know, you don't, like...
Yeah.
That basically you want them their best by behaving the way that they think you are.
Yeah.
I.e., if you behave act like a hateful piece of shit towards someone you want on your side because you want to bring them over. If you behave like that, they're gonna think, "Oh, you're just like that. I was right in my beliefs."
Yeah.
And they're just gonna double down.
Pretty much.
Sorry, Cole, are you putting meat in the KitchenAid? Like a steak?
Ah, fuck.
LMAO.
Yes, this is for sashimi, I think.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, I'll let you cook.
Yeah. But, yeah, and, like, I think...
I'm a professional.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, I think this goes into, like, a weird thing that I'm gonna bring up is, like, more and more, I keep getting into fights with other leftists about, basically... I keep having to tell people over and over again, even though people, like, keep trying to say, no, they actually do. Most people, like, your average people, normies, if you will, on average, do not find a violent praxis to be based.
They don't.
They are actually...
No.
Yeah, like, and I keep trying to explain this to people, and they're like, oh, but everyone supports them burning down the fucking police station. Yeah, because it was a natural fucking phenomenon, and everyone saw what was going on there.
That was a very specific situation. You're not going to propagandize the general whole of society into just... It's so... I hate this, too. Because it's such the... trying to do the easy thing type approach to it.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
You're not going to get people on board by smashing shit up. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand in these things, you are going to have to use some force at some point.
And look,
it's just
I
the
agree
nature
that
of
it's
the
based
beast.
they burnt down that police station. And it's good that
I
people
agree
agree
as well.
with that, but they're not going to do it if they start feeling unsafe.
Yeah, it's like as an example, I've even brought up to, like, my grandma before, and she, like, actually agrees with me on this, right? Hey, people talk about riots being based. Ask a Korean in LA what they think of the Rodney King riots. You're not going to get some very nice answers.
Yeah, they don't like those, from what I understand.
The police's fault, but yeah.
Yeah, it was the police's fault.
But that's, like, the Korean, like, the police weren't the ones burning down their livelihoods and homes.
No, exactly.
But the police were the ones who stopped doing their job in Korean neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That's you're supposed to do that as the cops to hold off any type of bad actor.
Of course.
Yep. And
So
then when
that-
people
that
show
was
up
the
and
police.
start, yeah, it was the police. Also, but they also aren't really going to be a fan of that kind of shenaniganry as far as getting change across, because they literally lived through that. They're not going to be big fans of that shit.
This is something I genuinely believe. I think that the only place where you can actually change a place into the kind of socialism that people talk about never having been tried are Western liberal democracies. It's not gonna... That is a... If you want to talk about like building communism, which is a narrative I don't really buy into, but if you really want to do that's the place where you're gonna do it. That's a step into that. You need to have a Western liberal democracy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
although
no,
I mean,
that's
granted,
completely fair.
we can go down the whole rabbit hole of what is communism.
Yeah,
But we don't have time for that.
It's a pointless conversation too, because it's just like people making shit, like imagining their favorite make-believe society.
Yeah, it's like a long time ago, and like I think the best way, I forget if it was you or me who put it this way, communism is like religion. There is no one true way. There's just
This
way
is true about
you
all
interpret.
ideology, really. It's not.
Well,
it's
yeah.
an exclusive thing, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but not all people like internally see it as like religious ideology and political ideology both just being ideology.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to conflate ideology and theology because it basically boils down to the same thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of all of this, like, there's one argument I've grown really, really tired of hearing, which is the whole, I don't like the result of democracy, of what has happened. Therefore, this is not real democracy. It is in danger. I should become an authoritarian to reinstate democracy.
Yeah, that's a very American approach to it. Like, this is 100% American moment.
Yeah.
America in South America.
Well, not just that, but also, like, let's say that, I don't know, 55% of people voted for one thing. This means that democracy is now dead.
Yeah.
That is the argument I keep hearing from people, and it annoys the fuck out of me.
It's too...
Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
There's a tendency I observe with people that I find a little bit irritating, where it's like, oh, the problem is that there are people, because we live in an age where if you have some kind of dumb fringe opinion, it's amplified. Like, all of the people whose stupid village idiot opinions would have just never been heard by anyone, they're now on Twitter. And so they seem a lot more present than they actually are. And so then now people get irritated. They're like, oh, the problem is that there's people who have these opinions at all, and we need to, like, eradicate them.
No, we do not eradicate people.
We can't. You can't do it. Like, there's some bad people in the comment section of this news article. Like, do you know how many layers of selection bias have happened? So these 5 old people can say racist things in the comment section of this newspaper article out of the like 90 million people that live in my country, or the 330 million people who live in the US?
No.
Like, the existence of racist beliefs notwithstanding, right? The problem is always the system, and I feel like there's always a concerted effort to put the onus on the people, not on the system.
Fair assessment.
Okay,
I would say.
Listen to voice messages.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
This campaign is grinding to a halt, slowly but steadily. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what's going through people's heads when they think, like, oh, being violent is what's going to get people on your side. Like,
no, it's because it's cool. They don't give a shit. Yeah. They don't actually care about getting people on their side. It's just cool and easy. Like, they imagine there is an easy... They imagine that the... Some of them are genuine about this, right? I understand why they think this way. Because they see the horrible shit that's going on in the world, and they think, like, something needs to be done about this, like, now. Like, yesterday. And they think that the easiest solution to it, the quickest solution to it, is violence. But violence isn't a viable solution to it.
Violence begets violence.
And that's
as a wise man once told me, violence begets violence.
If you ever want to piss off these like cringe champagne lefties, just ask them like what they've done today to advance the cause of leftism. That consistently always upsets them because why should I have to do something? It's a group effort.
It is a group effort.
It's like, all right,
but at the same
why are you not doing your share?
You have an individual responsibility, don't you? Because it's fine and all for it to be a group effort, but if you specifically don't put your back in the group, why? Like, aren't you supposed to be helping the group out?
Like this goes exactly into the direction that I was complaining about a minute ago, so I can't really let this leave uncommented. That it once again brings down the onus to like an individual level as opposed to like the systemic standard that this is about.
Yeah.
I get like especially the ones where clearly they're not actually doing any leftism, and where they're people that like could be doing something else. They could be contributing something, but it's just really like a lifestyle thing. They want to feel like they're good people. I get like shitting on them, but
But I feel like in this case, especially if they're the champagne lefties, they have enough resources to help out the group.
Yeah, but it's not upon these individuals to do that. It is upon the system it is upon them to lobby for higher taxes, which, in all fairness, a lot of rich people actually want higher taxes. Like, especially among the educated intelligentsia, they're like, yeah, make me pay more taxes.
Alright, fair.
Yeah, which is weird. You wouldn't expect to hear that, but I mean, hey, it's nice.
See, this is the problem. Most people get it. That's the problem. Most people get it. Not enough people get it. Not enough people get it in the way that they should get it. But there's like, people underestimate how many people understand what's going on. It's just that a very, very small group of people has an unfathomably outsized impact on actual systemic policy decision making.
Yeah.
That is very true. Fucking hell.
I got
so
better.
Speaking of, what have you boys been doing today to advance the cause of leftism?
I've not been doing anything. Actually, no. You know what I have done to advance the cause of leftism? Not work at all. I lie. I have been working, but I've just not been working efficiently.
A much more important question is really, what have you done today to be a good person?
I did not go outside.
Yes,
I have been helping people for free where I should, by all rights, be taking money.
Hell yeah.
I have just been sitting on my ass and doing nothing.
I feel like maybe I didn't. And actually, I didn't do it yet, but I told my neighbor I was going to buy some shit for him tomorrow because he can't really leave the house.
Mm.
I mean, that's a good thing to do. No,
I did that for me today. Good lady.
What
the fuck is this bullshit?
This is in my mind. It's not about like ideologically. That fucking.
What happened, Core?
They have conveyors in here. I'm scared.
Oh no.
Oh no, Core is going down the Factoria route. Somebody save him.
Idea I kind of have. Oh shit.
What the fuck? This is not okay, Jesus.
No, it is perfectly okay, Core. Don't you understand?
It's not done! It's not done yet!
Yeah. Not doing any more volunteer work at the soup kitchen until December.
I don't give a shit about, like, it's... it's more important to be a good person than to do the ideological thing.
Yeah.
Be a good person to your community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my community basically is
strangers.
just...
Be a good person to people that you meet. And this is I know so many like leftists. Obviously right wingers too, but I know more leftists than I know right wingers. So there's gonna be like skewed.
Yeah.
Who are just bad people. They're just terrible human beings. They're power hungry. They're judgmental. They're not gonna lift a finger to help anyone actually, unless it makes them feel good. They're never gonna sacrifice even a minute. Completely egotistical.
I love how we're having this deep conversation and Corey's just losing his fucking mind.
He is fucking dumb.
Yeah. You know, talking of like that bit burger, there's like something that I'm gonna like bring up, right? And it's like, so the whole like debacle with the recent fascist prime minister of Italy,
the incredibly fucked situation.
Yeah. Two things I want to bring up. Firstly, this is more of a funny aside than anything else. Something I learned a while back. So Mussolini's granddaughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a pop album that only released in Japan back in the 90s. So technically, she is a J-pop star.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Mussolini, the J-pop star.
To be fair, though, like pre-2016... Like, in 2015, if you had told me that, like, within the decade, Italy would be ruled by
another fascist
granddaughter who is a fascist J-pop star, I would have been like, no.
Good fucking joke, mate.
If in 2016 you had told me that, I'd have been like, okay, so things are just gonna keep on going the way that they have started to now. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
we should never kill that gorilla.
Okay, so back on track for the second thing I was talking about. So there was this video I saw years ago, and it keeps popping up in my like recommendeds again. I've watched it a few times in the past couple months. There is so remember that Italian fascist party that kicked off in Italy back in I think 2014, 2015-ish, and then they like went out of they basically like lost status as a political party back in 2019, I think.
I don't really follow Italian politics all that closely.
Neither do I. It was just a thing that like Channel 4 News covered, and I know Channel 4 News, but hear me out here. They were doing like
Channel 4. We're not Americans.
Yeah,
it's not American. It's a British channel. But
Channel 4, yeah. I see who you mean.
Also not British.
Okay, but anyway. Like, they were going into a deep dive on him, and I think that was the party she was, like, affiliated with when they were still a party. And, like, the thing that gets me wild about it and kind of, like, relates to your whole good person thing, right, is, as a fascist party, they did all the things that you'd expect, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, all, like, the racist rallies and shit, big-ass metal concerts of, like, bands screaming at people to, like, hang all Jews. You get the idea. But they were also doing shit like running free medical clinics, food banks, and even like shelters and shit. Now, mind you, they made it so that like you could only access these if like you could prove you were an Italian citizen.
Yeah.
But that was just fucking wild to me because like
makes you popular with the community.
Yeah, the Nazis do that here too.
And a lot, the Nazis do that everywhere. Because they try to actively be nice. And what I find with a lot of leftist efforts is that they're so much more about, like, doing a symbolic leftism. Which, in all fairness, you have to also admit that, of course, you know, the right-wingers tend to be better funded.
Yeah, I will say this in fairness, though, from what I've seen, anarchist groups tend to be a lot less like that, but they are also a lot less organized and a lot more scattered, so it's hard for them to come together.
Yeah. They actively handicap themselves.
I watched a documentary on that specific topic yesterday. Germany specifically is the problem because Nazis actually come to your house door. They actively come to help you, ask you out.
Yeah.
With the leftists, it's more of a thing of, well, we're here, you can come to us.
Yeah, and if you come there and if you're not exactly what they expect, they like kick you out. There's like black people in the fucking AFD, and like a few of them. You know what I mean? Like this,
the third way isn't really all that inclusive to that.
Yeah, I mean,
but they are mainly active in areas where there aren't black people anyway. So
I remember this tweet by a guy that used to actually be a patron, where it's like dudes be like, "I'm racist," and then their friend group looks like this. It's just like the most international group of people you've seen. It's kind of fucking real.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that gets me about this is like over here in the States, it's really those kind of tactics on the right, you do not see that here at all. Like at all.
Mm-hmm. In terms of like the right wing is not nice to people.
Yeah, no, like they mostly just like stick with the shit that you'd normally expect, right? Like the whole starting food banks and actually trying to do good publicity and whatnot, that's mostly a European thing. Over here, our right wing mainly popped up from two things historically. The first being the Ku Klux Klan in the South.
Yeah.
The second being the American Nazi Party, which started right before World War II. And there is kind of a weird north-south divide to that, because one thing you got to remember is, and this is not as much anymore, but it was very much so back in the day, the Klan and Nazis really fucking hated each other. And like
I could see that.
Yeah, and like the reason for that, right, is because the Ku Klux Klan was like started as a very America-centric organization. It was made primarily of Americans who were concerned about American affairs. Well, I mean, obviously racial affairs only, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
They were mostly considered, they were hyper-focused on America. They don't care about Europe and shit. They care about what's going on in the United States. And they saw the American Nazi Party and neo-Nazi groups as like foreign invaders, almost like a foreign influence. They wanted that shit gone.
I want my good old American racism. None of that foreign European racism shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, fair.
I like white hoods.
I mean, would you also consider it the fact that Europe, well, the USA more or less went like Nazis bad, during World War II and kind of just did propaganda about it? Would you say it would be that as well?
I think probably that as well, yeah. Now, mind you, this is like less of a thing these days. You still kind of see it, but I think it's more of like just your general kind of like rural versus urban divide type shit. Like your general, like the general divide you see between like rural and rural cultures, urban and rural cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see more neo-Nazi groups in the cities. You tend to see the Klan pop up more in like small towns and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mind you, this is just like what I've been able to observe. I haven't really been out of California too much. I see more shit of this variety since like I'm living closer to a city. I live on the West Coast. Obviously, the demographics in that kind of department here are going to be skewed. This is just what I've been able to like see from generally looking into this kind of shit.
Yeah, I've actually been outside of California most of my life, so...
Oh, no shit, you fucking keel heel.
I just wanted to point that I'm an expert on not being in California. I'm very good at it. I've been doing it really... I was doing it when I was a kid, even. Like, as a child.
You don't say.
Yeah. I was being not in California.
Fuck me.
LMAO. Imagine living in California. Ayo.
I've never been to the United States. That's weird. I'm thinking I might go next year.
If you want to come down, dude, my recommendation, come to LA. I'll take some time off to hang out with you and show you fucking around. It's great.
I know a bunch of people who would. I have. I want to look into it if it can be done.
Yeah. My biggest recommendation, though, stay the fuck away from San Francisco. Don't listen to what those liars tell you. It is not worth going there. Not at all.
Why would I want to go to a place where there's poo on every street corner?
Okay, I will give them this. The shit thing is not as bad as everyone says, but the city itself has very little tourist value. Don't go there.
Something I'm terrified by. I genuinely am terrified by this. Is the lack of public transport shit. The lack of
that is genuinely terrifying.
Even the way that suburbs are constructed. Because I have noticed with myself that I need to be able to escape. When I go to a place in the most rural ass Europe, I know I can maybe I'll have to take a hike for a day. But then I'll be able to take the bus somewhere.
Well, I mean,
probably a train.
Speaking.
This is even a very extreme situation. Pretty much no matter where I am in Europe, I can get somewhere else without needing to drive a car.
Obviously, it depends on the region, I would think. At least this is coming from my perspective in France, because I don't think we've ever seen a bus going from maybe a train in very big villages, but never really small villages down south, right? And I've never seen an actual bus area in the south of France. Maybe it's because I'm not looking correctly.
I can guarantee you that there are buses in the south of France. Never having been to I have been to the south of France.
No, but
I'm saying no. Amount of time in the south of France. I can guarantee you that they have buses.
in big cities, yes, but in small villages,
in small towns where there's a bus coming once a day or some shit.
Yeah. All right, maybe I'll need to look at it again. But in the north of France or the mid of France, I know for a fact you can take buses in the fucking mid-end of nowhere. It'll come every hour, if you're lucky.
That's very good coverage.
But, it's very good coverage. But, at the same time, you can go from, a dead-end-ass town in the middle of fucking nowhere, and, 2 hours later, you're in the middle of fucking Orléans.
Posh is just too rich to be able to see the buses.
Yeah.
They only appear to you below a certain level of monthly income.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious here. I've seen buses from Montargis, right? Montargis. But to be fair, that is yeah, it is a very big city.
Do you spend most of your time in the north or the south of France?
North. Well, it's more
have you considered that might have something to do why most of the buses in France you've seen have been in the north?
That is very true, yes.
But the thing is, you guys have buses, and they have kind of trains and stuff, especially if you're going to LA.
Yeah, but even still, some of the major cities have public infrastructure, yeah, sure. But I'm also going to be spending a lot of time, I hope, even outside of the major cities, in more rural areas. The people that I know who live in the United States live in more rural areas. And the idea of not being able to, just leave the house and go to a restaurant, unless I'm in, one of the... Because American cities are fucking expensive as shit.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in the suburbs, which are not navigable properly. That stresses me the fuck out. The idea of that really stresses me out.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it mostly depends on where you live, right? Because I live in a place that's kind of a shitty area, but I can also get a bus. I also have access to a bus that's within a little bit of a long walking distance, shorter biking distance that will take me to both of the major areas around here, and I can get there pretty regularly and even pretty late. Whereas a county over, the bus system is functionally non-existent.
Do people in the United States do like bike rides across the country?
I think that's like a very specialized thing, but yeah, not everybody does it. Very few people do that. And it's mostly like a do it for charity thing. It's not really a do it for fun thing. Like if you were doing it for yourself, you'd buy an old beater car that with like 300,000 miles on it for like $2,000 from somebody, drive that thing across the country, sell it to a junkyard, and then use that to buy yourself a plane ticket for the ride back home.
But
yes, Corey, you seem to be having a fun time.
To go on the bike. I'm trying to use the bike.
Okay.
Berg, riding a bike starting from like, let's say you want to go coast to coast, like California to New York, right?
Immediately a huge fucking I'm not saying go coast to coast. I'm saying like go the length of Florida, maybe.
I mean, maybe. But even then, that's usually going to be like a charity thing. That's not going to be something you just
get
do.
You from like Cap Nord to fucking Gibraltar. That's not like the standard European bike tour either.
Okay. Like even then, that's usually not something people do very much. That'd be more like, again, buy a cheap beater and like drive it around and then drive it until it breaks down.
The thing that
sometimes. Sometimes, yeah.
Bikes.
Like 50 years ago, you probably would have done it through hitchhiking, but you know, we don't hitchhike anymore.
Actually, this is an interesting thing. There is statistically speaking, hitchhiking is safe. Like statistically speaking, hitchhiking is a pretty safe mode of transportation. That there apparently has been like this a lot of the like anti hitchhiking type shit has been like manufactured by the automobile industry because they want people to buy more cars. They don't want people to have no cars.
I'm gonna say this much. Anyone remember that one bot that hitchhiked its way across Canada and then got killed in as soon as it got to America?
Yeah, but that is a robot. I feel like that's a very specific kind of circumstance. Statistically speaking, like hitchhiking is nowhere near as dangerous as people think it is. And now they're picking up hitchhikers. I understand why people don't do it. I wouldn't do it, certainly. But it's not like a lot of the it's like very much culturally something that people are terrified by these days, and it used to not be that way. And you know, the theory is
but it's also like, okay, obviously it's this whole thing got started by a combination of like automobile propaganda and like things getting blown out of proportion and like single serial killer type things being blown out of proportion, right? But because of that, like you mentioned, you yourself probably wouldn't pick up most hitchhikers. That's going to be the thing with most people, is that the only people who are going to be willing to pick you up are either extremely naive people or people who want to fuck you over.
Yeah, that is a bit of a selection bias that applied here, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically because of that, it's forced it down to that, that it kind of has become that way because the only people who are willing to engage in that are more than likely going to be a coin toss between people who are naive and people who want to kill you.
To be fair, it's still, statistically speaking, still very safe to do.
It is, but I wouldn't bet my life on it.
I mean,
in that case, that is what you would be doing, so.
That is a fucked up level, Jesus.
What happened, Corp?
That was cool, though, that you just dropped into the restaurant.
Yeah, I was cooking on a balloon, my balloon started burning, and the balloon fell out of the sky into a sushi restaurant. Now I needed to make sushi.
Are you playing, what's it called?
Overcooked.
Yeah, Overcooked.
Overcooked 2, to be exact.
Yeah, no, it's a fun game.
And Chris is currently downloading it.
Yep.
Damn, I really need to get it. Overcooked sounds fucking fun.
It kind of reminds me of like a mobile game. I'm sorry to like.
It kind of does.
It has that vibe. It's more of a couch co-op game, really.
Yep.
Because you can see how like chorus playing is like multiple people.
Yeah, usually it's very stressful to have to do that. Like having other people would be a lot easier.
When you have other people around, you can, even if you have like the same device, you just plug 2 controllers into it.
Yep.
You can basically play the game together.
Oh, this thing that Cito is talking about, hitchhiking, was also partly legalized in parts of America as an effort by Republicans to hinder hippies from getting around. This is something. Did you hear? Did you fucking? I learned this recently. The straight up mask off reason why Ronald Reagan and his boys introduced high college tuitions was specifically to keep poor people out of college. Like, they were seeing the hippie movement and the anti-war movement and all of that shit, and this isn't like a conspiracy theory. They, like, said this. They were like, oh shit, we're seeing, like, an educated working class of people who are, like, getting woke on the reality of the bullshit that we're doing with this Vietnam War thing that we're fighting. What we need to do is raise tuitions in order to make sure that poor people can no longer go to college. This is literally what they actively said they were going to do. And then they did. Like, that's literally, they did that in order to keep the poor out of university.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Fun fact, my dad's actually an unironic Reaganite, although he is starting to realize that, Reagan might have fucked up a few places with us.
Always with these people, it's just
because
they don't know the truth.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
The Heritage Foundation has like paid a lot of money for people to think that Reagan is good. They don't know why they think Reagan is good. They just think Reagan is good.
Pretty much.
That's some fucking fried turkey leg. Bacon wrapped turkey leg? That would be fucking sick right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I'm trying to decide whether or not I should pick up a game.
God. This is the first day in the entire week, by the way, that I've been able to sit down and play games.
Yeah, the game is Ghostwire Tokyo, and
yes,
yeah, it's made by a studio I like, and to be honest, right, it kind of gives me like a little bit of like. In my personal opinion, it gives me a little bit of like Shadowrun-y vibes. Like if you were playing like a Shinto mage in Tokyo or something.
I mean that looks very Shadowrun-y, yeah.
I've heard very good things.
I do want to say though, like this is the first time in a week that I've been able to sit down and play a fucking video game for like more than 15 minutes straight, because otherwise all I'm doing is literally just looking at news about games and
I mean, kind of honestly,
fucking workshop. But like, I don't know what's gotten into me. Like, for some reason, every time I just come home, I'm just too out of it to do anything. So I just spend like I can do my sports, but then for some reason, you have to pause the game to think about this. But like, for some fucking reason, like. We eat dinner late. I don't have enough time to take the shower before my dad comes home. And so we're eating dinner. And so as soon as that ends, it's like around 9 o'clock maybe. I have to do the dishes. I have to clear everything up, which gets it to like 9:15. Around-ish, maybe 9:20. I get to the shower. I don't know, I feel out of it, so I don't get into the shower until like 10 minutes later, so it's now 9:30.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
I meander in the shower, not doing anything, just thinking about pointless shit. Like, not even... It's like, I'm trying to think of something, but I can't.
This sounds like chronic stress, dude.
Yep.
Maybe it is.
Very much. I know that feeling very well. It's something you need to break up. Like, try to get a week off or something like that.
I am getting maybe not a week off, but a few days off to go visit. So I've talked about this a tiny bit before, but I'm going to the Whitby Golf Weekend on the 28th. I'm coming back on Monday.
Yeah, you've talked about that a bit.
Yeah, I'm hyped for it because I've finally managed to nail down a place. Like, I finally managed to find an Airbnb that wasn't too expensive and wasn't too far away from Whitby. Like, it's literally 5 minutes from the station.
Are you like
a
goth type of guy? Are you a goth type guy?
I don't know. I just saw it. Like, Chris introduced me to this idea, and I was like, you know what? This sounds kind of funky. Not gonna lie, I'll try it out. You know, I'm taking from his philosophy here, where he just goes like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, like, Posh, I get what you're talking about here, because, like, this has been happening to me, like, the past couple months. I go down to the canning plant, I do my job, I get home, and basically, I just take a shower, sit down on my futon, and I watch YouTube from, like, I want to say, like, 6 o'clock in the evening to, like 1 to like midnight, sometimes 1 in the morning, and I just don't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know how I often am not around for like a week, maybe 1.5? Yeah. That's usually why. Because work is knocking me out. It's something that in the society just sadly happens all the time.
Yeah, it's like I don't even have that excuse.
That you get time off, and not time off helping your grandmother, but really time off to just sit down.
Yeah, no, this is why I'm so annoyed this week. It's just like I'm not.
This is like, what capitalists want your entire life to be like. Like every second of your life is supposed to be this.
I wish that speech gave me motivation to fight back, but honestly, it just kind of makes me go.
The one thing
that's
I will
why
say,
they want you that way.
Yeah.
My workplace has been very, very welcoming to me. Like, not even in the capitalist sense, like actually like decent human beings here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of I think Zizek talked about this. The nice workplace culture is it's a bit of an ideological argument that it's like a problem that your boss is nice to you and that there's like a positive workplace culture, because then it seems impolite to rebel, but that is part of the game.
Oh no! Also, so I have something very fun for them at work tomorrow.
Puts me to steam. Sorry, mate.
Like, I've got something very fun for work tomorrow. I have to leave work at 4 tomorrow. Because my dad didn't explain it to me beforehand that I had to leave, like, very early in the afternoon. Well, 4, I guess, isn't that early in the afternoon, but still. And so I haven't told my work I needed to do this. That's going to be very fun to find out. Oh yeah.
You know what though? I really want to make a casserole. I just decided this. I want to make a casserole. What kind of casserole should I make tomorrow?
What ingredients do you have?
Nothing.
Well, then don't make any.
No,
I'm joking.
And then make it. I buy food and then I make the thing.
You could do like a shepherd's pie.
Yeah, something like that.
I could do a shepherd's pie in my cast iron. That's true. Yeah, but that's
shit. No,
that's
potato gratin.
Yeah.
Da.
Maybe with some fine bacon in there.
Actually, sounds pretty nice.
Yum.
It's a fecal project, and you'll be working on it a little bit. Take your mind off things. I miss cooking like that.
I do like just cooking for like a couple hours.
I can't believe I say this. I've seen your kitchen and I envy you for it.
I mean, yeah, my kitchen is tiny, but yours is worse. I don't know if you know this, but I own a Staub.
Ah, God damn it.
A what?
A Staub, like.
Oh yeah, the Breter. Yeah, you told me about that when we were at your place.
Yeah.
That you were planning on getting one.
Yeah, I have it. Probably the most unnecessary thing that I own, but I fucking love it. It's like, for those who don't know, that is a very expensive pot. It's literally just a pot that costs $200.
It's a cast iron pot.
It's a very good cast iron, enameled cast iron pot.
And that sounds pretty good, though.
Honestly, I love cooking with that thing.
Have you seasoned it, or is it non-stick?
No, it's enameled. I have a cast iron that I don't really cook with ever because of the whole seasoning aspect of it that I need to do it all the time. But no, this is enameled.
You only have to season it a couple of times in the beginning, and then you go.
Yeah, I did that, and that didn't happen.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I guess I'm gonna show you at some point.
No, I have seen the tutorials. I've done that, and then I spent like half a year where I didn't use it because I was always seasoning it with like seasoning coating that was supposed to be like restaurant grade, and then like it just looks used now. Yeah,
doesn't matter how it looks though. Important is if it sticks.
I've been thinking if I do get into LARPing, I might become a guy who cooks there. So I want to get into like outdoor cooking, and a cast iron is perfect for that kind of thing.
I wish I could do LARPing, but there's like 2 reasons that I don't. The first being there's just not a lot of stuff over here that's really that kind of good. And secondly, if it's a fantasy LARP, I basically just want to play like a grenadier type character, like with a bunch of fucking flintlocks strapped all over me.
That's difficult. There should be post-apocalyptic stuff. Anyway,
there is. There's a lot of post-apocalyptic
stream.
Ready? Aww.
Goodbye.
Is the stream over?